After traveling across the northwest of France in our previous episodes, I'm flying to Bordeaux this time around to visit the historic city and famous wine region in the southwest of the country. It's really good to be back in Bordeaux. It's only been a couple of months since I was last here, but this time of year is really special. It's right after the busy harvest season, and the wine estate owners have a lot more time to entertain their guests. So let's go. Bordeaux is best known for its wines, and that's what most people come for. But that's only half the picture. Bordeaux is also a modern, vibrant, and sophisticated metropolis, the political and economic capital of the wealthy Aquitaine region, and a visit here is worth more than a short stopover on the way to the wineries and vineyards. A quick walk through the city center, and you immediately feel it. Bordeaux was always rich, thanks mostly to the lucrative wine trade that prospered ever since the Romans settled here. Up until recently, merchant ships would dock at the Garonne River on the city's waterfront to load their precious cargo. The fortune made from wine helped build one of Europe's most prosperous and elegant cities. Bordeaux is also steeped in culture. The well-preserved historic quarter of the city, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is home to 362 National Heritage monuments and buildings, the most in France, next only to Paris. Most stunning are the 18th century neoclassical buildings along the waterfront, those clustered around the Old Quarter. Great place to see them and to experience La Vie Baudelaire is at the Place de la Comédie, where the Grand Theatre is found. The building where operas are performed is considered among the finest examples of neoclassical architecture in France. Right across is another fine 18th century structure, the legendary Grand Hotel. It's hard to believe that in a city this beautiful and historic, there's really only one luxury hotel with a heritage that goes back hundreds of years. And it's this hotel, the Grand Hotel du Bordeaux. It's definitely the best place to stay and dine in the city center. Le Grand is perfectly located. Not only is it on one of Bordeaux's loveliest and liveliest squares, it's right smack in the middle of the city's upscale retail district, next to Rue Catherine, France's longest pedestrian shopping street. Most of the famous landmarks are minutes away by foot, and you can hop on and off the tram on the square to get you to most parts of Bordeaux. Le Grand Hotel is a gastronomic landmark as well, with 2 restaurants operated by the acclaimed chef and media superstar Gordon Ramsay. I'm meeting up for lunch with a good friend, Séverine Miai, at Ramsay's popular brasserie Le Bordeaux. Séverine booked a table at the brasserie to introduce me to the gastronomic culture and prized ingredients of the French Southwest. Well, Le Bordeaux delivers. Even its patron, Gordon Ramsay, is actually British. The Grand Hotel is home to the city's grandest and finest restaurant. Now, this restaurant by Gordon Ramsay has 2 Michelin stars, the most for any restaurant in the city. Le Pressoir d'Argent is Ramsay's other restaurant in the Grand Hotel. It's only been around since 2016 and already has 2 Michelin stars, though many say it ought to be 3. Remarkable considering how young the restaurant and its chef actually are. Head chef Gilad Peled was a former Israeli army officer before he was recruited by Gordon Ramsay. Gilad puts his army experience to good use with discipline and precision in the kitchen, plus the best regional ingredients money can buy to create the signature dishes and refined experience Le Pressoir is known for. Clients love their take on French cuisine, even if Ramsay is English and Chef Gilad Israeli. as I was saying earlier, it's a bit of a disconnect sometimes for some people when they say, I'm in Bordeaux, I expect French tradition, French heritage. It's a Gordon Ramsay restaurant. The fit is right, isn't it?
The fit is right, and we are in a great region in France, one of the richest one, which have like amazing products. And if you will open our menu and you will see French food, because Gordon was trained by some of the best French chefs. He worked for Monsieur Bouchon, he worked for Monsieur Guy Savoy. We are French orientated, very modern, very more light on the cooking, even though we are in a region that the food is quite rich. Mm-hmm. And then in the same tone, we are offering, I would say, something very local. When you open our menu, you feel that you are in Bordeaux because you're finding the beautiful volaille from the land, and you find the truffle from Périgord, and you find the oyster from Arcachon, and beef from Bazas, and caviar from the region, etc., etc. So we are very happy and very proud, and we feel that we very much set in very well in the region.
Chef Gilad has 2 Michelin stars and a long waiting list of clients to prove that. But in the end, it's the locally sourced ingredients and seasonal produce that deserve just as much of the credit.
And you know where it comes from, and you have a nice relation with the farmers and with the suppliers and with the fishermen, so they know what you are looking for, and you trust them, and this is how you build a relationship. And at the end, we don't need to do much to it after. You know, you really don't need to over sophisticate it or do anything. You just need to let the product shine, and this is what is fine dining all about. It's just about like really great product. Either it's a chicken or it's caviar.
And we haven't even talked about the wine list yet. Well, with thousands of local wine producers in the region alone, you're spoiled for choice here, whether it's a fancy restaurant or a bar on the street. Bordeaux is wine country after all, and we're off to visit one of the newest attractions in the city dedicated to it. Clearly we're in Bordeaux to visit some wineries and taste some fantastic wine, but before doing that, there's just one place you must visit. It's this museum dedicated to wine and viticulture. It's like your introduction to wine. La City du Vin is a modern architectural landmark built to house the most comprehensive museum on the topic of wine. Not just Bordeaux or French wine, but wine cultures from all over the world. If you're a wine enthusiast, you go crazy in this museum. But even if you're not, just like that kid, you'll really enjoy this place because it's really entertaining. Discussing wine can be intimidating, but the exhibits set aside the snobbish attitude and the technical jargon and allow visitors to employ all their senses to enjoy the spirit. To appreciate wine properly, you have to engage all your senses simultaneously, especially the sense of smell, and this exhibit helps you develop that. Interactive displays also allow you to ask famous wine experts any questions you have. That was Michel Rolland talking about how to choose wine. Now let's talk about how to buy wine. Yeah, this is a very good question. What makes a wine so expensive? Well, let's see what the experts have to say. Let's ask a wine merchant, Hélène Laroche. One of my favorites is the Terroir Table, an interactive display hosted by legendary winemakers who explain in detail the various environmental factors that influence wine production in their part of the world. But it's not all facts and figures here. At the view deck, it's your palate, not just your brain, that's engaged. So this is where the tour ends. This is where you apply all the information you just learned to understand the complexity and the history of wine. This beautiful, beautiful product. Here you get to try some of the wine-making styles you just learned about and notice things you never used to. Better yet, you can have that glass while enjoying panoramic views of the Garonne River and the city of Bordeaux. One visit to La City du Vin and you're guaranteed to fall in love with wine and vow to try as many varieties from different corners of the world. This cellar reminds us that wine is truly global. In fact, there are 76 wine-producing countries represented in this cellar alone, including places like Thailand, China, Japan, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan. 76 countries, and that's not even complete. The museum teaches us that you'll never truly understand a wine unless you experience where it's from. And that's exactly why I've come to Bordeaux. I've made arrangements to visit a couple of chateaux in the countryside tomorrow. In the meantime, it's time to spend the rest of my time in this marvelous city, enjoying the sights from the street and from the Le Grand Hotel's royal suite. The hotel, after all, is just as grand as the buildings around it, and the top suite in the property captures the elegance of the French Belle Epoque quite accurately. The royal suite will cost you 8,000 euros a night, at least during peak season, but it also comes with this roof deck, and of course, these fabulous views of the city. What a breathtaking skyline! The rooftops of 18th century mansions, medieval cathedrals, and the Grand Theatre across bathe in the warm light of sundown. Paris may be the city of light, but that title could apply just as well to Bordeaux at night. Scenes like this one of the Place de la Bourse, lit and reflecting on the Miroir d'Eau, the city's famous reflecting pool, leave you breathless, or as wine lovers prefer to say, intoxicated. When executive class returns after the break, our wine tour of Bordeaux continues in the vineyards and cellars of the legendary estates of Margaux.